Okay, as I was saying at the end of last episode, before I cut myself off, basically at this point in the game, Roxas no longer has access to the lounge and the hub world or whatever.
Yes.
And you basically just have a little thing where you wander around Twilight Town for a while. You see Hayner, Pence, and Olette just kind of wandering around again, if I recall correctly. And ultimately, he just winds up back here, at the tower. And so he's here by himself. And in the space between the last day where Xemnas came and grabbed Xion and this day, some stuff happened that is very vague that I'll get back to later.
Okay.
Where did I think I could go? What a joke. Xion! Thank you.
Roxas, I'm out of time. Even if I'm not ready, I have to make this choice. You have poured so many memories into me, given me so much, that I feel like I'm about to overflow. Look at me, Roxas. Who do you see? If you see somebody else's face, a boy's face, then that means I'm almost ready. This puppet will have to play her part. Roxas, this is him. It's Sora. You're next, Roxas. I have to make you a part of me too. Don't you see? This is why I was created.
Alrighty, so at this point, a couple of things happen that we're cutting around. First of all, you don't fight her just in the robe there. You teleport to several different worlds where those devices that I mentioned a second ago have been set up, presumably by other members of the organization. Okay. She takes on these armor forms. She's you know the Keyblade armor that we see in the Birth by Sleep movie and in Birth by Sleep? She wears something kind of similar to that, and she uses all of these different abilities that Sora has, basically, except beefed up versions of them. Okay. And you fight several different phases of her in different locations before you come back to fight her in the sky in front of the clock tower, essentially. The one major downside to us doing this on PlayStation 3 as opposed to PS4 is they actually patched in a new scene just in the PS4 version, months after it was released.
Really?
They patched in a fight scene with Xion.
Oh, shoot.
Which, I don't know why they patched it in there and not over here. I don't understand why they did it at all. It's honestly very confusing to me, but they did do it. Anyway, the main thing that I said that's a bit confusing about the off-screen there is with regards to the scene we're about to hear here. There's different implications of what was going on with Xion during this sequence, right? Mm-hmm. There are two things that happened. Either A, Xemnas got her, beat the crap out of her, brainwashed her, whatever, and convinced her that she needed to do what she was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what she's saying there, though it's going to conflict with some stuff we're going to hear in a second here. Option B, and the one that the manga ascribes to, is she was imprisoned for the purpose of doing that, and then she broke out and decided, I need to suicide by police by just having Roxas kill me before this situation can get worse. And that she basically went and did this on purpose with the intention of dying. I kind of prefer that interpretation, but neither is necessarily canon within the games themselves.
Gotcha.
Who are you? Again? It's weird. I feel like I'm forgetting something really important.
You'll be better off now, Roxas.
Am I the one who did this to you?
No. It was my choice to go away now. Better that than to do nothing and let Xemnas have his way.
So you see there, she certainly makes it sound as if this was intentional. But I don't know why she would say those lies before the fight if Roxas doesn't even have context to know what she's lying about anyway, so it could be there's a... Again, that's what I'm saying, it's a little bit vague in the context of the game itself.
Right.
Roxas, I need you to do me a favor. All those hearts that I've captured, Kingdom Hearts, set them free.
Kingdom Hearts? Free them?
It's too late for me to undo my mistakes. But you can't let Xemnas have Kingdom Hearts. You can't. Goodbye, Roxas. See you again. I'm glad I got to meet you. Oh, and of course, Axel too. You are both my best friends. Never forget. That's the truth.
No. Xion. Who else will I have ice cream with? Xion.
How did this happen? Hmm?
I forget if they show this in this scene. They cut around it because it doesn't make any sense, or do they show it? They cut around it completely. Okay, so something really stupid happens in the DS version of the game that I have to comment on because...
Okay.
Where did these two Keyblades come from? He pulls out his Kingdom Key, and he pulls out Xion's Kingdom Key, and he holds them up, and they just change. It's not explained at all, it just happens. It's great stuff. Anyway, so yeah, now we are back here at the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 and the relevant scenes from KH2. And I should note, even though I think I might have referred to Xion as the final boss a minute ago, which is inaccurate. Technically speaking, you do get to fight Riku, and he is the final boss of the game.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of neat. Riku being the final boss.
Mm-hmm. How can you jump from there if falling off the tower is enough to hurt someone?
Who cares? If it's intentional, then it doesn't matter. If it was an accident, you can get hurt. As long as you meant to do it, it's okay.
Who are you?
What does it matter? I'm here for you.
Why are you trying to stop me?
Because I want back the rest of Sora's memories.
Sora. Enough about Sora.
Do you have some kind of plan?
I'll set Kingdom Hearts free. Then everything will be the way it was. She'll come back. And the three of us can be together again.
I thought he was supposed to forget her.
And Xion. It's a struggle just to remember the name now.
Oh.
Either way, I can't let you go doing anything crazy.
Wait a second, was that an error?
And I'm going to find Sora.
What?
I want Xion back. I want my life back!
I don't want to ruin this scene, but I just noticed in that wide shot with Riku, you could see a green laser flying out of the castle towards Kingdom Hearts. I think they accidentally loaded in the backgrounds that appear during a very specific part of Kingdom Hearts 2 when Ansem's using the laser beam.
After the recording, we need to go back.
We're going to go back and check that. Anyway, I want Xion back. I want my life back. Very good. Some good reads here from Mr. McCartney.
If you try and make contact with Kingdom Hearts, the last thing you'll get is your life back. The organization will destroy you.
Enough!
So this is where final boss fight happens.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, Roxas is like, I'm gonna go back and kill everybody and get Kingdom Hearts, and Riku is like, no, you're not. You're not cool enough to do that. You'll lose, and so he stops him here. Is the idea, at least. And now we're back into scenes we've mostly already seen in Kingdom Hearts 2, obviously. Just with these intercut. God, that transition back with that compression. The compression on this is just terrible. It's probably because of all those static effects they wanted to do, and because they were cutting between multiple locations, they had to make all of this pre-rendered. Would be my guess. These might just be raw exports of the files that were on the DS. They might not even be redone. I don't know.
Why don't you quit?
Come on, Sora. I thought you were stronger than that.
Huh? Get real. Look which one of us is winning.
So it's true. You really are his nobody.
And this scene really doesn't work so much as the ending of Days. I mean, it works in the context of 2, but it's, I don't know, like, having him actually blurt out a Sora line really doesn't fit as the conclusion of this story. It's one of his last lines of dialogue in the whole game, but whatever.
You have to stop him.
How many times do I have to beat you?
All right. You've left me with no other choice.
What?
Anyway, we've seen this stuff before here. But yeah, so the Xion thing's a bit weird in terms of the mechanics of it. The implication is, like, basically imagine if, oh, everybody else doesn't really have memories of her. They're just, like, referencing a server that's being deleted or whatever. It's real confusing, and it's not important. Ultimately, it's an excuse for why did nobody mention her in KH2,
yeah.
Which I really don't think was needed, because thinking about, like, the actual dialogue, like, there's never really a reason for her to come up in KH2, really. I feel like you could have just killed her and not done the memory shenanigans thing, but whatever.
I didn't. Maybe I just don't remember. I don't remember Riku being able to use the Standu Da.
He only used it in this scene.
Okay.
When he was in Ansem's form for the rest of the game, he never once pulled it out. Which is why the whole thing of like, oh, he took on this form to use the power. It's like, but then he didn't.
But then he didn't.
He didn't do it later, at least.
I don't know. Well, he like instant transmission there.
It's true.
So that's another power.
No, but by the time that you get to like kind of the end game of KH2, he really doesn't have anything all that special going on, and giving up the darkness doesn't really cause any huge problems for him. God, that is just fantastic. I don't know if that's going to look as bad on the recording as it does on this high definition television
really
that we're viewing
hope
it
it
on. I
does.
hope it looks just as bad. Look at that. Did you see the aliasing on those stairs just freaking out?
I missed it,
How
actually.
he felt, did he? Ridiculous. Nobody cannot feel anything.
If he had met Sora, things might have been different.
Now, I will say having that line in there, it takes on a lot of meaning after the entire game of dismissing the ability for him to feel anything. The only problem I have with it in the context of 358 Days Over 2 is if you haven't played the other games, who the heck is Diz?
Yeah.
This guy's had no presence. I mean, like, again, if you played all the games, then whatever. It's just like, screw you, old man! You racist! You don't know nothing about my boy Roxas has been through. But it's like, it's, again, these things where it's like not all these elements were integrated into this specific narrative properly. But as a part of the larger series, that works fine. I don't want to sound like I'm just nitpicking that. It's just a thought that I had of like, he has no presence in this story, and then delivers a pretty impactful line considering what we just went through.
Mm-hmm.
Roxas, don't be sad. I came from you and Sora. I am you, the same way that I am Sora. You'll forget me, but the memories themselves will never go away. Memories of you and me will always be together, forever inside him.
Man, this Sora lad sure has spawned a bunch of garbage, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a lot. The first day. Here's the Kmart box.
Yeah.
That's all I can ever see when I see that in Roxas's room. I was like, why does he have this giant cardboard box from Kmart? Ooh, look at that compression. Eat it up.
It's delicious.
Maybe it's just that our TV is making it look way worse.
I don't think so.
Also, I just want to point out that if you were playing this first and you haven't played KH2, how did we get here? There's no explanation of what their plan is about the Matrix and whatnot.
Well, it makes you want to just play the other games and
I guess that's true too. I guess that is true. Did you notice that shot was actually really poorly edited? They didn't cut before it started panning. It started panning to show the title card, and they cut it during the pan.
Today we'll finally hit the beach.
Wait, what? So confusing if you haven't played the other game. Whatever. I shouldn't be judge this too harshly, but just like I know from experience, like I've met people who played this game first because it was on the DS, and I can't help but think about what was their reaction to any of this.
Only 7 days to go, and then my summer vacation's over.
Yeah, if you hadn't played the other stuff, that's like a real artsy-fartsy ending right
Yeah,
there.
what are they talking? What happened? Was that some kind of cut to an alternate reality? Was that a dream that he was having? What was that? A wee bit confusing. I will tell you, I do like the red and gold aesthetic of the the logo and of the credits here. I love the red and the gold. It looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, so we should probably have a few minutes of, hey, skip if you haven't watched Birth by Sleep. So I guess here's a timestamp of we're going to freely discuss some Birth by Sleep details. Actually not yet. Let's not do that yet. Let's just talk about your thoughts on this first, and then we'll do that. What did you think of this, Joey?
I mean, it's hard to say, in the sense of, like, of course, it would have been better in the context of the game.
Sure.
Because, obviously, despite being 3 hours, everything felt so rushed. Like, I will admit, like, towards the end, the problem was slightly alleviated of, the constant just cutting. It's like, he did his job and then they ate ice cream. He did his job and they ate ice cream. At about the hour or hour and a half mark, that kind of stopped appearing. That being said, of course, the problem still remained of just, like, you didn't have enough time to kind of, dwell on all the stuff that's going on, as you were saying. I'm not really adding anything to what you've said.
No, it's fine. I mean, I want to know. I want to hear your opinion on the subject matter, even though I've obviously said a lot on it, which is going to influence what you have to say. People are always concerned that I'm, like, influencing your opinion so much that, oh my god, they never explained it. Right. Oh no, they didn't actually show it. They showed number 14. God, they didn't. Did they not explain it? It's in the secret reports, of course. I'll tell you anyway. I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, so all the organization members' names, their original names rearranged with an X in them, right?
Yeah.
Xion is N-O-I. N-O period I. Number I. Imaginary number. She's not real. She is an imaginary number.
That's
Square root of -1.
that's such a. That's so stupid. That's so dumb.
Great.
I was waiting. It had been a little bit before you force fed me some garbage, and I was waiting for it. Oh, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were just talking. I was saying that I feel like people in the comments are always concerned that I am like unfairly swaying your opinion on these things.
I don't think they realize how cynical I am.
Yeah, I think people are vastly underestimating your ability to think for yourself and form your own opinions. Like, it's like they're assuming just because I say something first, you can't possibly have a differing opinion on the subject, you know? It's like...
Right. I mean, whatever.
I think we have pretty similar tastes on a lot of things, even though I might go into some things in a little bit more depth than you do sometimes. I think our tastes are usually pretty similar.
You've had a couple of years to marinate.
God, I'm so over Kingdom Hearts. I say that because I literally just beat Dream Drop Distance for the 3rd time in 6 months yesterday. So, like, I'm a bit oversaturated at the moment.
You need to just start speedrunning it, and they'll have you over for GDQ one year.
Oh, God, I don't want to go to GDQ for Dream Drop Distance. They won't want me back.
Thoughts on this?
I love there were credits for movie section. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I understand now what you meant. Wanted to recording. I think we actually said it in BBS. Like, not spoiling anything, but you had mentioned that Xion like gets it pretty hard.
Yeah, there is no recourse left for her to come back. She's like, she dies.
Yeah.
She dies bad.
Yeah, exactly.
As bad as you can in like a bloodless PG-rated death.
Yeah,
right.
And anybody listening in, it wasn't really spoiler because we had talked before where it's like, well, she's not in the other series. Obviously, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she got it real bad. Okay. Never mind. No, that's for BBS.
We'll talk about BBS spoilers in a second here.
Okay.
Let's just talk about it in the context of what it is here. I feel like I don't know. I guess the thing is that when I played this in 2009, you got to think about it, Joey, because you've also played BBS now. You got to think about it from the perspective of 1 and 2 and Chain of Memories, which is this relatively self-contained little trilogy that wraps up the way that it wraps up. So coming into this, I really wasn't sure what it was going to be beyond let's find out more about what Roxas was up to. So when it ended with this pretty emotional and relatively, I don't know, brutal isn't necessarily the right word, but like...
I mean, yeah, brutal can be used
emotionally harrowing.
Yeah.
In that Roxas is the one who kills her, which loses a lot of weight when you cut around the fight. But I mean, you have a multi-phase fight where you kill Xion.
Yeah, like one of the 2 things in this world that your character cares about.
Yeah. It surprised me that they did this, because while obviously the other 3 games are full of heavy dramatic moments, we've already talked plenty about the weight of the theming stuff going on in the first game and the relationship between Sora and Riku, everything that's going on with Naminé in Chain of Memories, the stuff that's going on with Riku in Kingdom Hearts 2, where he's insecure about his like position in the world. I'm not saying these games had no depth and no weight to them, but this kind of caught me off guard, the direction that this game went and how it wound up handling this character and this resolution.
Yeah.
That this essentially at the end of the day was just a game that when I beat it, I was like, there really were no contributions to the overall like canon here. I don't feel like I have any new secret information that I was lacking previously, you know what I mean? I don't really have that much greater the only real like new insight that I have into something that was previously established was the relationship between Roxas and Axel. We now know more about, because we went into a lot more detail about that. But a lot of the other stuff that's introduced is like, okay, a tease of Syax and Axel had some kind of relationship which doesn't go anywhere.
No.
And other information about the organization that doesn't go anywhere, and we don't find anything about the other members. So it's like ultimately what you have at the end of this is the relationship between between Roxas and Axel, and the relationship between Roxas and Xion, which ends with death. And I was like, there's really no... I know I'm kind of repeating myself. I'm losing my train of thought here, but like I was just surprised that at the end of all of this, I was like, the only reason this game exists was because somebody wanted to tell a story about Xion dying. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like as a self-contained story, though, it was perfectly fine.
No, that's exactly my point. Yeah. Is like that I was just sitting there, again, you have to look at it from the perspective of 2009, sitting there with my DS after Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, and 2, and I'm just like, wow, somebody just wanted to tell this.
Yeah.
That was all it was. It was just somebody wanted to tell this story about Xion, and they did a whole game about it. I mean, it was Xion and Roxas and Axel, but like, that there was, I was not sitting there after beating it thinking, this is the next crucial entry in the series that everybody has to play. It was just like, that was a sad little story set in this universe using some characters we met before. It feels like the best types of spin-offs, you know?
Yeah.
Focusing on other aspects of the story we don't necessarily get to see in main entries, going somewhere a little bit different with the tone. There are things that I dislike about Days. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I was impressed with it. I was taken aback with what it decided to do, and I respected it for its creative decisions. I guess would be the best way of putting it. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. But we do also have now
the secret report.
We have the character section, which I don't think is anything super exciting. It's just, yeah, look, there he is. Whoa. We can't even look at the render of them by hitting triangle. So he harbors his own secret agenda that we know nothing about. Senior member of the organization, second in command, indeed as well as name, looks at the big picture and acts according to his own unique perspective. Founding member of the organization, fierce warrior and strategist, he seeks a heart but despises love and the bonds that tie people together.
So this is like the absolute bare minimum information that this game would teach you about these characters.
Founding member of Organization 13, yeah, exactly. A brilliant scientist who carries his own research for various organization projects. He was in charge of the replica program at Castle Oblivion, but someone disposed of him.
Okay, wait, why doesn't it say who, though?
Because it's mysterious, Joey.
But this is the after the fact. Whatever.
It's mysterious!
Gotcha.
Isn't it? Don't you wonder who?
Play the games and find out.
I guess it's also like maybe they expect you to know, but they just kind of write it that way for fun. I don't know.
I doubt it.
The founding member of Organization 13, he is a man of brawny physique and few words. He was sent to Castle Oblivion, but was disposed of by an unknown assailant. Technically speaking, Riku Ansem killed him, but whatever. Unknown assailant as well. Ruthless tactician who would use any means for his ends. Zemnis' right-hand man, which contradicts with the description of Zigbar earlier, but whatever. He is charged with giving orders to other members. He and Axel, an old acquaintance, are plotting something. And that's all you get!
Oh boy.
Prioritizes his own motives over the goals of the organization. He eventually becomes friends with Roxas after their initial meeting. Like Roxas, he comes to worry for Xion after becoming friends with her as well. His easy-go-lucky personality is uncharacteristic of an organization member. He can control water by playing his sitar, but is aware that he is unfit as a fighter. Gambler at heart who enjoys treating everything as a wager. He never lets down his gentlemanly and reserved attitude.
It? Gambler at heart.
Despite having joined late, he is sent to Castle Oblivion and named its Lord based on his profound abilities. So I guess it was canon that he actually was that strong in Chain of Memories when he had all of his different forms and copies of himself. I guess they're literally like he's just that much better than everybody else.
I guess so.
There were only like 2 final bosses in the organization, and one of them just happened to be like the 10th guy we found. The 11th guy, excuse me. Named Lord based on his profound abilities, he is intrigued by the Keyblade wielder and harbors dark desires, but was disposed of by an unknown assailant in Sora. She is highly conceited and mocks all those around her with an abrasive attitude. 13th member of the organization, assigned to missions to collect hearts with the wields Keyblade. A bit of a zombie when he first joined, Roxas slowly regains himself through his interaction with Xion and Axel, becoming best friends with them. 14th member of the organization, like Roxas, she wields a Keyblade. Through interactions with Roxas, she forms her own identity and develops a relationship with Roxas and Axel. Sora, there is more people. I thought maybe that'd be it. I love how he's got his earlier KH1 render, and like the lighting and style of it just like looks completely different.
Yeah.
Young boy who wields the Keyblade is a hero of light. He currently sleeps in Castle Oblivion. That's untrue. To restore his memories after saving the world from darkness. childhood friends with Sora and Kairi, don the organization's black cloak pretending to be a member, and investigates their actions while waiting for Sora's memories to be restored.
Who's he fooling?
What do you mean?
Like, pretending to be a member.
What do you mean? Who's he fooling? Isn't he disguised?
Disguised for who?
He's an imposter. Remember they said eliminate the Organization 13 imposter?
There's 13 of them, and each one of them can mysteriously see through the black cloak. Like the black cloak hood.
I love that they call him an imposter as if they're like a publicly traded company and their reputation is being soiled and their stocks are plummeting as a result. We have to get rid of this guy who's falsely representing us to the public. She was targeted by the forces of darkness for being a princess of heart back on Destiny Island. She waits for Sora and Riku's return. Mysterious figure who waits for Naminé with Sora. He despises nobodies and pushes Naminé to complete restoring Sora's memories to achieve a certain goal. Young girl, they're using her 14-year-old model there. Okay, number one, yes, I know that I'm crazy for noticing these things. Number two, why did they do that? Why do they gotta do this to me? Why do they gotta make me crazy? Young girl with the power to rearrange the memories of Sora and everyone connected to him. She is currently restoring Sora's scattered memories. The king.
Yeah.
Praise Jesus.
There he is, finally.
The Keyblade Master and Lord of Disney Castle. You travel with Riku but worries after being separated from him. Wearing a black cloak, he pretends to be a member of the organization and gathers information about their actions.
He pretends.
Yes, he does. They don't notice him. He shows up at their meetings and is like, hey, guys. So I missed last meeting. Can you tell me what happened?
What chair does he sit in? Is that why the chairs are there because they're so bad at telling who's who?
I don't know what this crap means about them pretending to be in the organization. It makes no sense.
Oh.
A lot of fans of this series really don't like Xion. She's a weird split where for some people she is like people's favorite character in the entire franchise, and other people can't stand her and think she's a mistake, just like her parents do. Part of it is just like the nature of her character as being like, I think people were weirded out when she turned into Sora at the end.
I mean, yeah.
And then beyond that, it's like people say, oh, she's just such a Mary Sue. She's just there to be this cute girl that Roxas and Axel like. And I don't know. I think especially when you spend the full amount of time with her in the game, there's more to her than that. And even here, I feel like she has legitimate insecurities that are interesting. Yeah. But whatever.
I mean, I enjoy, like, as far as I got in the game, for whatever it's worth, like, I was enjoying her as a character. It's like, this didn't change my opinion of that.
Why is this one blue?
Secret reports.
Why is it blue? I don't understand why it's blue. Oh, is it that it's what I've opened, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Whatever. Okay, can I press triangle to switch to secret? Okay, sure, okay. It's been a week since I got here. Sykes told me to keep a diary, but he said nobody would check it. What am I supposed to write about? Today he told us to go to the round room where we met our new member, number 14. Was that what I was like when I first got here? I think I was, but I don't remember too well.
We are not going through every one of these.
Yes, we are. Shut up.
We are not.
Yes,
are you kidding me? Why?
A name defines an object, describes the span of it, gives it purpose. We embarked upon the replica program to ensure our new power stays ours. Now our shadow puppet, number I, exists. It needs a name, something to define it, to give the hollow vessel purpose. But again, doesn't that defeat the purpose of your plan? Does that not say who wrote it? Okay, usually they say the author, but I guess.
Wait, how many secret reports is there?
Not for every single entry that Roxas does.
See, that's what I thought you meant. You were reading the Roxas report at first. So I was like, you're not going to go through all 255 of these things.
No, and they don't. And there's not one for every day. But there are quite a few of them. We will be here for a few minutes. Okay. For quite some. I guess that's part of the reason I cut the episode is because this is gonna be more than enough to finish this episode and make it an hour long. Me and Axel went
Wait, so you are going to read all of Roxas's?
That was what I was planning on doing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, everybody.
Me and Axel went to Twilight Town today. He taught me a lot. Before we RTC'd, returned to Castle.
Oh, my God.
We swung by the... Yeah, that's so stupid. I hate that. Swung by the clock tower and had some sea salt ice cream. Axel called it the icing on the cake after a successful mission. Except there was no cake, just ice cream. I don't know what to write in this thing. The past few days, the other members have been showing me... Oh, what am I talking about? I screwed up. Seems like we're getting new members every day. Number 13 was a boy, Roxas. Now we've got number 4. Does it not say who wrote them? These are supposed to say that they're written by a specific person. Like, that's written by another person of the... we're not reading the secret reports then, never mind, forget it. Like, they're all written by different members and it doesn't say who wrote them. What the hell?
Hang on, you can go back and check again just so that we don't get a bunch of angry comments.
I mean, this is it. This is all the data that there is.
Yep.
I know this one is written by Larkstein just because of the tone. How dare they shut me out of monitoring the key... Or is this not her? Hold on. Yeah, and send me off to teach that half-base nobody.
Yeah, that's her.
Basic magic. Should have had him light me on fire. It won't be long now, though. Once I'm over at Castle Oblivion, our plans go into action. No more playing nanny, ever. I remember that's Larkstein. It doesn't say it's her anywhere. Oh, God, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's just gonna piss me off. Anyway. You know what we're gonna do to make this, forget it, never mind. Ah, God, should we do this or not? I want to... shut up, Joshua. I want to read all of these.
Oh, God.
I wanna... I'm going to set Kingdom Hearts 3 and get back and find my way to Sora. Then I'm going to get Xion back. The 3 of us will have ice cream together again. I know it.
How'd that work out for you?
I have to know who I am. I am done with this. That's some good stuff.
I am.
All of me. The gears of Xemnas' plans have begun to spin. Why does it not say who wrote these? Wild, since we lost half our membership at Castle Oblivion. The results are there, but can the state of affairs fairly be called a success? If Kingdom Hearts can be said to possess a mind of its own, it is surely rejecting Xemnas. No, rejecting Xehanort. Roxas left the organization today. Our plans have never accounted for the possibility of both Roxas and Xion leaving. How did this come to pass? When did Roxas grow strong enough to outmuscle me? What are you really after, Lee? This would be Syax, yeah. We joined the organization at the same time and formulated our plan. At this point, it's just an idle fantasy. Everything changed. You and me. This really hurts when you can't tell who's writing it, because there's stuff written by every single member in here. Though I should say that while there are certainly some secrets that are revealed and some valuable information, like, you don't discover what, like, Axel and Syax's plan is in this. Roxas left. It's so like him to just leave that winter ice cream stick behind. Come tomorrow, I'll probably get orders to hunt him down, but leaving that here makes it feel so permanent. I wish the 3 of us... 3? No, that the 2 of us would share some ice cream again someday. That's what it is to be friends. That's another thing. You didn't laugh at it, and I was surprised. I guess that means you were taken in by the scene and you were taking it seriously. When Roxas says, "No, Xion, who will I have ice cream with?" That is a line that a lot of people just hate because it completely destroys what they see as the dramatic tension of the scene because it's so stupid. That's part of why earlier on I emphasized the idea of Roxas associating eating ice cream with being friends with people because like he just doesn't have any other way of like rationalizing it.
Yeah, he may have just slipped through.
With luck, we can bring Roxas back into our fold. Even if Sora should awaken as the hero of the Keyblade, he's bound to keep unlocking hearts. Exactly. So it didn't matter. If he should come to target us, we need simply subdue him and use his powers ourselves once more. No, you just need to teleport away.
The best part about all this is if the organization had not revealed themselves to Sora, there would be no doubts.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he's doing his thing. Why don't you just like feed him breadcrumbs of like, hey, there's or get somebody to be like an ambassador and be like, hey, we know where the big bad heartless are. They're over here.
All you need to
Please
do
go
is
take care of it for us.
Have Axel.
Reward you.
All you need to do is have Axel put on a costume that isn't the evil cloak and show up and say, hey, Sora. I'm part of an organization that's been keeping track of the Heartless, and we need your help to destroy them. And then they can keep doing their intel jobs and just send him around to kill them. And it's over instantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I must be... Yeah, so this is Xemnas. If he should come to target us, we need simply subdue him and use his powers ourselves once more. I must become one with Kingdom Hearts. I will become a higher existence. All of my true ambitions begin there. I guess you know what? I don't know if we're gonna read all of these after all. Maybe we'll produce a video another day where we look at all of these.
All right.
I'll pull them up on my computer where we actually have like the names of everything, and we don't have this crappy D-pad scrolling and load times to open everything that would literally double the time that we spend here. But I feel like really fast we should just go ahead and open the floor to BBS spoilers. So this is the end of the episode, I guess. We won't read more of these entries right now, which sucks because there's some really good stuff in here, but like we'll just have to look at it another time. We'll look, like I said, we'll look at it another time, or if not, you can look at all this stuff on the internet. It's all like on the KH Wiki and stuff, people. Let's go ahead and open this up to Birth by Sleep spoilers. I guess I'll put a timestamp, so if we want to hear like our final thoughts as we wrap up, they can.
Okay.
All right, so if you haven't watched the Birth by Sleep playthrough, you should go through to this timestamp to see our final thoughts on this game. So, just that final mention from Zemnis there made me think about, even though the Birth by Sleep seems to suggest that Terra Nort has amnesia after he winds up, you know, on Radiant Garden at the end.
Yeah.
That little bit about him saying, I have to become one with Kingdom Hearts and become a higher existence. Looping back a little bit to some stuff that our main antagonist in Birth by Sleep wants it.
So, you know, like he had amnesia, but then he forgot about the amnesia, so it's fine.
Who knows? Maybe it's like subconscious.
He got double amnesia. The second amnesia was amnesia of the amnesia, so it cancels each other out.
Yeah, maybe. What is this? Hold on. I just opened up the... Oh, that's what that actually meant. I thought that meant there was a secret report associated with that day. It means that that's just a text entry.
Gotcha.
That's what that means. Anyway, so, and then also, so specifically the thing with Zigbar seeing Ven is supposed to be like, Xion is supposed to show however people perceive her, but it's also affected by Sora's memories. The closest thing that Braig has of memories of Sora is his memories of Ven, who is now inside Sora.
Yeah.
Is supposed to be the implication. Quite frankly, it's a Birth by Sleep tease that doesn't really make much logistical sense, that was probably there because we got to put some kind of Birth by Sleep thing in there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is it would only matter to eagle-eyed viewers, because otherwise people would be like, why
is he just see Roxas? Exactly, right?
Yeah.
It only matters to fans who are paying an extreme amount of attention.
Hey, Chief, I'm going to keep it real with you. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
After you said that, I was like, oh, I guess he was
wearing Roxas's costume, but it looks so similar to Ven's civvies, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, so Ven's costume looks so similar to Roxas's civvies, I mean.
Yeah.
But I like this art a lot, honestly.
It's really good, yeah.
Mickey has no place being there, but
take him out and everything else is just great.
Yeah, I like it. I like the mist of... I like how freaking menacing Riku looks
He
there.
looks great.
He looks like he's coming in ready to kill.
He really does. Maybe it's just the blindfold and the white hair and that, but
I think
it looks like Nier.
I think it's the purposeful stride forward and the fact that he's coming out of the mist and everybody else is like more present in the foreground.
Yeah.
He looks like an antagonist. He looks like he's coming here to kill everybody.
He kind of is in this,
he
sort
is.
of.
Yeah, he is. I'm saying it's effective.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, we've never once complained about the art, really.
Of course not, no. But so the thing that I think is key that I talked about during the Birth by Sleep playthrough at the very end, which I guess, man, I don't know how this is going to release. Maybe this will have to release after the Birth by Sleep playthrough, because I'm going to talk about our discussions from the very ending of Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
Which is like the whole thing I talked about of cheapening all of this is like, when I played this, it's just a sad story about Xion. When I got around to Birth by Sleep, it was like, okay, you just did the same trick again with a less effective friend group that I was way less believable. Like, I mean, even with the length of time, even if you disregard the total, like, the fact that, oh, you just spend way more time with these three as friends than you do with Terra and Roxas and, Terra and Ven and Aqua, because they barely have any scenes together. These characters are just written so much more naturally.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're just 1,000 times more believable than their counterparts in Birth by Sleep. And then that game just goes on a bit longer, and it just expects you to feel as bad when it's like, okay, but you did this last time. I honestly think that a lot of the reason why this game was so effective, and this may be unfair to say that it was good if it was just that it surprised me and subverted my expectations, but like, I wasn't expecting them to do this. So for this to end the way that it did, right?
Right.
So then when I saw it in Birth by Sleep, I was like, okay, I mean, that was cool. It was sad, but you've done this before. And I didn't like these characters nearly as much. And then when they were like, oh, no, don't worry. Hopeful swell of music. Everything is going to be okay.
Okay, and I was going to bring this up. So, like, during that, because you'll just have to jog my memory, because it's been a few weeks.
Sure.
Weeks. was Xion listed in the Sora's gonna rescue all these people?
In the montage of all of the people who look up to the sky and hopefully say Sora, Xion is there, yes.
Okay, cool. The person that everyone's forgotten because she doesn't exist at all?
She's
been completely erased from existence.
I guess the only, like, possibility is that when she reassimilated into Sora, maybe, like, some of the odd, like...
How many reassimilations into Sora has there been by now?
Let's see.
Is it 3?
Well, hold on. Do you want to count assimilations or reassimilations?
Everything.
Okay.
What have we got?
From the beginning
how many people
of his...
in Sora?
Listen. The first thing that Sora ever did was lend some of his metaphysical heart strength to Ven. Okay.
Yes.
4 years later, he accepted Ventus's heart into his own heart.
Yes. So Ven's chilling.
10 years later, Kairi's heart goes inside of Sora.
Yes.
Later on in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora stabs himself.
Yes.
Now, I already we talked in Birth by Sleep about how I think that the whole, like, because otherwise there's no point to Ven as a character. Like, or at least there's no point to him looking like he could have just been someone new. There was no reason for him to look like Roxas if it wasn't meant to explain two big things. Number one, how can Sora be walking around at the same time as Roxas if Roxas is his body? Mm-hmm. And number two, how can Roxas feel things if he doesn't have any memories? And this is something I said we would address later.
Yes.
Xion is not an issue because we've already established in Chain of Memories that replicas can feel things.
Yep.
Right? And we can even argue that she's like a more sophisticated one, maybe. Mm-hmm. Or that, like, you know, she's getting, instead of just like fake data that's leaking out into her, she's getting actual raw memories from Sora or something like that.
Yeah.
The point being, we previously established that replicas 100% absolutely do feel things. They have something resembling a heart, even if it's not a real one. Even if it's kind of a crappy one, they do have one. But Roxas, how can he feel all of this stuff if he has no memories? To me, it made a lot of sense to say that this entire game was essentially Ven going through therapy. You know what I mean? Of going through having his heart busted up and then having this whole new experience just with amnesia. But disregarding that, answering your original question, Sora stabs himself. This releases Kairi's heart from his body, so I guess that means we're up to what? If we're counting the helping out Ven when he was first born. Helping Ven, absorbing Kairi, releasing Roxas and Naminé.
Uh-huh.
Then, this game assimilates Xion, later assimilates Roxas, and technically he doesn't get to re-assimilate Naminé because Naminé is assimilated into Kairi instead.
Right.
So that's where we are. That's it. We're at 7 or 8. I admit I lost track a little bit along the way there. Okay.
I think is what we're at. All right. Just wanted to make it clear.
Yeah.
Like, just clear it up in my mind that a bunch of garbage has happened to Sora's body, heart, soul, spirit, mind.
Whatever. Anyway, so...
But it's okay, because he's the hero of light.
Yeah. It's just a situation where... I like Xion, I like Roxas, I like Axel. I don't even really actively dislike Terra, Aqua, and Ven that much. So it's not that I don't want to see more of them. It's just, again, the discussion that we had at the ending of Birth by Sleep of, like... what was the point of these stories?
Yeah.
If not that these characters got axed. Again, I talked about during the Birth by Sleep playthrough, I've been struggling to articulate this. And I'm still struggling to get everything fully encapsulated. But I think one of the big things that I was thinking about is, like, comparing... Okay, so Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories kind of have cliffhanger endings of things being left unresolved, and I want these people to be happy.
Yeah.
I want Sora and Kairi to get together. I want Riku to be better, right? The difference is that there's some kind of, like, statement and goal that's presented, some kind of philosophical idea in a way. You have let me put it this way. The confrontation between villains is different, right? Okay, when Sora confronts Ansem in the first game, they argue over the ethics of what's being done, in somewhat vague terms, but that's what they're doing. There isn't really an argument with Marluxia, but there is a major argument with Naminé. Not a heated argument, but a debate over what the right thing to do is, right? Mm-hmm. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you have Riku debating over what the right thing for him to do is, if he deserves to be happy. And also on his half in Chain of Memories, you have him arguing with Diz. Everybody's like, Riku, you have to be evil. You have to embrace who you are. Riku, you have to push away the darkness and be a good person. And at the end, Riku's like, no, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm going to do my thing, and you can all shut up, right? Mm-hmm. He's specifically coming at these statements about how people perceive reality and saying, no, this is how I perceive reality. This is what I'm gonna do. Then you have his issues in Kingdom Hearts 2, and you have even though it's little, the scene with Xemnas of I need more hearts, I need more rage, and Sora being like, don't you remember that there's more than that, and him being like, I don't actually, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got these little things here. Contained within this game, though it's not perfect, you have this idea of these things that Roxas wants coming into conflict and being destroyed procedurally over the course of the game. Of his friendship with Axel being destroyed at the end of it because of his lack of trust in Axel. And him killing Xion. There's not really this, you don't have that point where the villain says, the world is like this. And the heroes say, no, you're wrong. The world is like this. Which is kind of how most stories end. Even if they're not like actual heroes and villains, you have two characters who have different values and one of them wins out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This game doesn't super have that because the villains are effectively Xion and Riku, right? And Roxas basically has no reaction to them other than like, oh no, Xion, don't do this, when he's confused, when she pulls on her hood and she's a boy.
Yeah.
And then like, shut up, Riku, I'm gonna go do the thing. And Riku's like, no, you're not. But then you get to what really grinds my gears about Birth by Sleep that we've never really fully articulated is like, we talked about, the fact that Xehanort's motivations are so muddled in that game. Of like, okay, does he want balance, or does he want to blow everything up to see what will happen, or does he want to create this next world that he talks about in the reports and never discusses out loud, right?
Yeah.
The main thing you'll notice if you go back and watch that is there's never a point where he's like, the world is like this. And the characters go, no, you're wrong, Xehanort. I've learned throughout my adventure that the world is actually like this. And then they fight him. Instead, it's basically he goes, now it is time for me to enact my evil plan. And then the characters go, shut up!
No, don't do that.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And like, specifically, like Ven Vanitas is like, at last we have the Keyblade, and we're gonna do all of the evil stuff with it. And Aqua says, I don't care, shut up. I just want Ven back. And kind of like the closest it gets is with Ven making the comment about at least I have some friends to Vanitas. But even that was secondary to what Vanitas was actually saying. Vanitas was talking about we need to reassimilate and do our stuff, right? And Ven was like, no, I'm going to help my friends. So there's kind of something there, but not really. Which I guess is my point about like why those deaths are all that it really has in terms of dramatic weight. I think that I was thinking about this a lot, and I think an easier way to do this would have been like, Xehanort comes out and says, I'm going to create a new world, right? I'm going to create the next world, which will be much better than this one, and I'll be the god of it, right? Yeah. And then the characters could have said something along the lines of like, you have no right to do that. On our journeys, we've seen the princesses who have finally met their true loves and have their whole lives ahead of them. We met Hercules and Zack, who want to become heroes and have dreams. We met Stitch, who's trying to change his nature and make friends. You can't rob them of endings to their stories because of your own selfish ambitions, Xehanort, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then maybe even them, intentionally cutting their own stories short to stop him would have taken on even more dramatic weight. And in that context, I don't know, it's difficult to say. Like, on one hand, you could then go, well, bringing them back invalidates their sacrifice in that context. But then you could also go, and this is their chance to have their ending, their, payoff for these, their reward for sacrificing themselves to stop the villain, right?
Yeah.
But, like, as it stands, they didn't really sacrifice themselves. Like, Xion intentionally did that, seems to be the implication. Whereas, I guess technically Aqua sacrificed herself, but that's just because she's a dumbass. I don't know. This is stuff we've already discussed, obviously, but I just want to discuss it again now that you have a better picture of who Xion is and what her deal is, and why I was saying that stuff at the ending of BBS. Because obviously you knew I already told you some of the plot outline of this stuff, just so you had a general idea. Yeah. Because I needed you to know some of it when we were talking about Birth by Sleep, but anyway, yeah. So that's the that's. Do you have any other thoughts while we're in Birth by Sleep spoiler-free zone?
Not really.
I figured not, but I thought I'd just ask. So yeah, that's the Days movie, not the full game. Again, if anybody's watching this on our channel and is like, and you haven't played the game or haven't watched a full playthrough, I seriously highly recommend tracking one down and finding it.
If you got a DS, you may as well go for it. It
Yeah,
can't be
do
too
it.
expensive. GameStop has a lot of. I guess DS is would be like in their like retro.
Every
category
single
now.
GameStop I have ever been into has a used copy of this encoded. Like every single one
Even
I've
if they
ever set
don't, you
foot
can go
in.
up to the front desk and order it.
I go and look in their little cabinet of I want to see the used DS games that they have, and every single one I've ever been in has a copy of this game and a copy of Coded. Not a joke. At least ever since I've started looking for them, which, you know, would have been the last several years. But anyway, yeah, so go out and play this game if you can, and if not, go watch a Let's Play of it. There's lots of options out there. I mentioned some previously. It is worth it to do. But yeah.
Like I said, like I didn't finish it, but I was enjoying what I was playing. Like it's a DS game, and it still feels really good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it wasn't. If it had been a 3DS game and wasn't bound to the D-pad, that would have been preferable. But if you play it on the 3DS with the circle pad, you can kind of, you know, you can imagine. You can use your imagination. Anyway, yeah, but that's 358 Days Over 2. We've watched the movie now. We've got that checked off the list.
Yeah,
And
that's
anybody
true.
anybody who was concerned about wanting to see us do everything has now seen us do everything, and or not everything, but you know,
Everything
we
so
filled
far.
in this gap. Is my point.
Yep.
I like this game a decent amount. It's got some problems. It has a lot of weird dangling plot threads and things that don't make sense. But ultimately, I like its three main characters. I think there's a lot of I think there's some soul to this game. Was ultimately kind of my feeling on it. I hope that you enjoyed this journey, Joey.
Yes, I did actually. It's like I said, of course, going through it in this context obviously isn't the best, but I still plan on going back and watching the cutscenes. I still eventually plan on finishing the game.
And anyway, yeah, so that's that. And if you're watching this in order and you're coming from the future, you now want to move on to the Birth by Sleep playthrough. If you're watching this linearly in the order that it's coming out, I apologize for the confusion, but again, we didn't think we would be doing this period.
Yeah, it just kind of happened, fellas.
So next up will be the Coded movie, and then after that will be Dream Drop Distance. So look forward to that, everybody. I was hoping this would be 3 episodes, but whatever. 4, that's fine. People will put up with it. It's okay. Coded will be shorter because I guarantee you we will never have any cause to pause during that because there's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
We're just gonna laugh at it. It is gonna be the Kingdom Hearts comedy hour, or the 3 hours, I suppose.
Okay.